Japan doesn't train focus with motivation posters or morning mantras. They build it with something quieter, something simpler: habits. These aren't the habits that burn you out or demand superhuman willpower. They're small, deliberate systems that make discipline feel inevitable. Because here's what most people get wrong. Focus isn't a personality trait you're born with. And discipline isn't about forcing yourself through gritted teeth every single day. In Japan, they've understood something we're only now rediscovering: that the right environment, the right structure, the right tiny habits, they do the heavy lifting for you. So today, we're breaking down 6 Japanese habits that rewire how you approach focus and discipline. No hype, no hustle culture, just systems that actually work. Let's begin. Think about the last time you sat down to work. Did you just start? Or did you spend the first 10 minutes scrolling your phone, adjusting your chair, making coffee, checking notifications, adjusting your chair again? That's decision fatigue happening in real time. In Japan, there's a different approach. Before any focused work, whether it's a tea ceremony, martial arts practice, or even a business meeting, there's a ritual. A small, repeatable routine that signals to your brain it's time. A calligrapher arranges their ink, stone, brush, and paper in the exact same order every time. A sushi chef sharpens their knife the same way each morning. An office worker might organize their desk, brew tea, and open their notebook, same sequence, every day. It's not superstition. It's neurological priming. When you repeat the same small actions in the same order, your brain starts associating that sequence with focus. You're building a mental bridge between the ritual and the state of mind you need. Same start, same place, same time. This could be as simple as lighting a candle before deep work, playing the same lo-fi track, writing the date at the top of a fresh page, taking 3 slow breaths with your eyes closed. The specific ritual doesn't matter. What matters is that it's yours and you repeat it consistently. Over time, the ritual becomes the trigger. You don't need to summon willpower. You just begin the ritual, and focus follows. Multitasking is a lie we've been sold. You're not doing 2 things at once. You're doing 2 things poorly, switching back and forth, fragmenting your attention into pieces too small to build anything meaningful. Japan's work philosophy has a different rhythm: one thing, fully, until it's done. This is called ichigyo zamai, a Zen concept that means complete immersion in a single action. Watch a craftsman in Kyoto making pottery. They're not checking their phone between wheel spins. They're not half listening to a podcast. They're shaping clay. That's it. The entire universe, for that moment, is the clay and their hands. When they finish that piece, they move to the next. Not before. Finish, then move on. Because here's the thing: when you single task, you're not just being more productive, you're training your brain to go deeper. You're building the capacity for sustained attention, which is the rarest and most valuable skill in the modern world. Most people's attention spans are shattered. Yours doesn't have to be. One thing, fully, until it's done. Let me ask you something. Right now, where you're sitting, how much visual clutter is around you? Papers stacked unevenly, charging cables tangled, half-empty water bottles, browser tabs you haven't closed in weeks. Every single one of those things is a tiny decision your brain has to process, ignore, or defer. And all of that creates mental drag. But in Japanese workplaces, there's a system called 5S. It originated in manufacturing, but it applies to any environment where focus matters. The 5 S's stand for 1. Siri-sart. Remove what you don't need. 2. Saitan. Set in order. Organize what remains. 3. Saiso. Keep it clean. 4. Saiketsu. Standardize. Make it repeatable. 5. Shitsuke. Turn it into a habit. It sounds almost too simple. But that's the point. When everything has a place, and that place is obvious, you eliminate friction. You don't waste mental energy deciding where to put something or looking for what you need. Your desk is clear. Your desktop has only what you're working on today. Your workspace breathes. At the end of each day, spend 2 minutes resetting your space. Close all tabs. File documents. Wipe down your desk. Put your pen in the same spot. Tomorrow, when you sit down, you're walking into a calm, organized environment. Not chaos. Less friction equals more discipline. It's not about being obsessive. It's about removing the small obstacles that quietly drain you before you even begin. Here's where most people sabotage themselves. They decide they want to be disciplined, so they overhaul everything at once. They wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for 30 minutes, journal, exercise, meal prep, and read for an hour, all on day 1. By day 3, they're exhausted. By day 7, they've quit. Japan has a word for the opposite approach, Kaizen, continuous improvement. Not through massive leaps, but through tiny, consistent steps. After World War II, Japanese manufacturers were trying to rebuild. They couldn't compete on resources or speed, so they focused on something else. Getting 1% better every day. Not 50%, not a dramatic transformation, just 1%. And over time, those small improvements compounded into world-class quality. This applies directly to building focus and discipline. You don't need to overhaul your life. You need to identify one small habit and do it every day until it's automatic. Want to read more? Start with 1 page. Want to exercise? Start with 5 push-ups. Want to meditate? Start with 1 minute. Because here's the truth. Discipline isn't built through heroic effort. It's built through boring repetition. The person who does 5 push-ups every single day for a year is more disciplined than the person who does 100 push-ups once and then never again. Small, consistent, inevitable. That's Kaizen. That's how discipline grows. In Japan, time is treated with a kind of reverence that feels almost foreign to those of us raised in hustle culture. Meetings start on time, not 2 minutes late, not when everyone gets here. On time. And they end on time, too. This isn't rigidity for its own sake. It's respect for your time, for other people's time, and for the work itself. When you start on time, you're telling your brain, this matters. We don't wait for motivation to strike. We begin because it's time to begin. When you end on time, you create a boundary. You protect yourself from burnout. You honor the fact that focus is a finite resource. In your life, this might look like setting a timer for focused work blocks, 90 minutes, then stop. Starting your deep work at the same time every day. Ending work at a specific time. Even if you could, keep going. This isn't about being robotic. It's about creating containers for your focus. When you know you have exactly 90 minutes, you work differently. You're not scattered. You're not wondering when to stop. You're fully present because the boundary is clear. Time boxing doesn't limit your creativity. It protects it. You respect the time, and the time respects you back by giving you clarity. At the end of each day, many Japanese companies practice something called hansei. It's a moment of quiet reflection, not self-criticism, not beating yourself up over what went wrong, just honest observation. You ask yourself simple questions. What went well today? What didn't? What can I adjust tomorrow? Notice the framing. You're not asking, why am I such a failure? Or why can't I stick to anything? You're asking, what can I adjust in the system? Maybe you plan to focus for 2 hours, but you only managed 45 minutes before getting distracted. Hansei asks, why? Was the environment too noisy? Did you skip your ritual? Was the task too vague? Were you hungry or tired? You're not blaming yourself. You're debugging the system. Spend 2 minutes at the end of each day, on paper or in your head, reviewing what worked and what didn't. Then adjust one small thing tomorrow. This is how you get better. Not through shame, not through forcing harder, through small, thoughtful corrections. Over weeks and months, those tiny adjustments compound into a completely different level of focus and discipline. So here's what we've covered. 6 Japanese habits that quietly build focus and discipline. 1. Rituals that signal your brain to begin. 2. Single tasking until the work is done. 3. A clean space that removes mental friction. 4. Kaizen. Small, consistent improvements. 5. Respecting time with clear boundaries. Number 6. Hanze reflecting without self-blame. None of these require you to be superhuman. None of them demand willpower you don't have. They're just systems, small structures that make focus feel inevitable instead of impossible. Because here's the truth. Focus and discipline aren't personality traits. They're not things you're born with or without. They're habits, built quietly, practiced daily. And you don't need more motivation to build them. You just need better systems. So tell me, which one of these habits will you try today? Drop it in the comments. I read them all. And if you want more calm, practical Japanese wisdom on mastering your time and focus, subscribe. New video every week. Thanks for watching.